Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, folks of all ages, all sizes, and everybody in between. We're doing, honestly, a little bit of a late stream here tonight. It's a little bit different from what we might normally be doing, but either way, we're going to be enjoying ourselves as best as we can, as most as we can, and yeah, I won't lie to you, it's a bit different from the usual formula. I wasn't actually planning on doing more Elden Ring for a little bit here, but because of some circumstances, we're just kind of taking a little bit of a difference in our break schedule. So, that being said, get yourselves comfy because we're going to be getting right into it pretty darn shortly here, as tonight's stream very perfectly describes to you. It is going to be a dex only run, and we are going to be primarily leveling only dex. So that being said, that also means we're probably going to only be doing dex weapons primarily. If you are new to the stream, do consider subscribing because we are naming subscribers after our characters in this case. So we do that, and I'm sorry, I'm actually just checking real quickly here to see, because we are working with a different headset actually also on top of things here. Like I said, it's a bit of a different setup than I'm usually normally set up for, and there's a lot of differences than what I might normally be attuned to. I'm hoping that we can kind of get our normal set back soon enough here, but at least for right now, just stick with me and have some fun. Get yourself some coffee, some tea, something nice to drink, and we'll be kind of rolling into it pretty darn shortly here. So, without further delay, folks, we're going to get right into it. Let's go ahead and make sure everything is where it needs to be, as it needs to be, and yeah, give me just a couple seconds here to make sure the audio sounds fine too. Alrighty, folks. I think we're pretty much where we need to be in this case. Luckily, I believe we're fine. So, long story short, we're going to be doing a dex-only run tonight, and in this case, I am going to be relatively prioritizing weapons that are of the dex variety. So things like rapiers, large stocks, so on and so forth, those are going to be our primary things. However, the only thing that we're going to be leveling during this run is going to be dex. So, what does that mean? It means that we can ultimately use weapons with other requirements to some extent, but it's not going to be... We're going to have a balance. Okay, that's the long short of it, pretty much. It pretty much means that if we have a weapon in front of us that requires some of other stats, we're going to basically have that availability to basically say, hey, this weapon requires X stat to it. We are also going to be able to use items. Luckily, Elden Ring is one of those games where if you have a weapon that requires other stats, you can make the difference up. So, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at my, real quickly here, subscriber log to go ahead and get an idea of who our latest is, so we can name the character good and proper. But give me just a minute here, folks. So, yeah, I hope you're all doing wonderful tonight, by the way. And thank you so much for joining me here. It is definitely not my usual streaming time, for what it's worth. Like I said, it's a bit of a different setup. Also means that it's a bit of a different time frame that I might normally work with. So, hopefully it goes well, but we'll find out. Yeah. Okay. You know what? In this case, it's going to go to eradicationism. We're going to go ahead and attribute this one to eradicationism. Eradicationism, you are officially the run of the day here. So we're going to go ahead and dedicate this one to you. So, eradicationism, thank you so much for subscribing. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. And I hope you enjoyed the run. There we go. Honestly, what a fucking name. What a good name on top of that. Like, genuinely, like, it's a really, really good name. So this is going to be, for the most part, a normal EldenRing playthrough, which, long story short, just simply means that we're not going to have our normal load of randomizer put into this one. It's just going to be a straightforward playthrough where we do what we can as best as we can with what the game has given us. There's no extra rules, stipulations, other than the only things we are going to be leveling is dex, and we're also going to only be doing, more than likely, dex weapons. So, that's it. That is the entirety of the requirements. Without further delay, let's get right into it with our friend here, Eradicationism, the absolute cock and ball codpiece looking motherfucker we have in front of us right now. Hey, Isla. How you doing tonight? Great seeing ya. Thank you for stopping in. Feel free to stick around as best as you can. I know it's probably late for you. Hope you're doing awesome. Actually, real quickly, let's see. Okay, no, we're fine on our... We're more than fine on our load set right now. I think we're fine. I think we're reasonably okay. Gear-wise is all good to go. I believe also... because I am actually rocking a different mic right now. Gotcha. It's all good, Isla. I mean, honestly, it's completely fine. It is completely fine. Trust me. Yeah, no, don't even stress it at all on that front. It's more than fine. Time frames are always, of course, wacky for what they're worth. There's no way to get around that front. So don't stress it. It's all good. It's good to have you around. It's actually really good to have you around. It's been a minute. So thank you. I'm going to take a quick drink on that front. Primarily because, one, my throat is a little sore, and also, two, because it's always good to celebrate. So, the long story short of tonight, we're going to be doing ourselves a dex weapon and dex leveling only. Tonight's drink, in this case, is nothing too crazy, actually, Isla. It is a... Well, here's the thing, is I was rocking Old Fashions earlier, but we are now currently moving on to just simply a whiskey and Coke mix. Nothing too crazy at this point because it is kind of late in the night. Really don't want to be doing anything that's going to be too much. But definitely enjoying it for all it's worth, of course. So I feel like I can kill this guy right now, so I'm going to go ahead and make the effort to do so. Yeah. I feel like I can do this. Yeah, no, honestly, I really, if there's one thing I really love in terms of drinking, it's always a good old-fashioned. I really, really love old-fashions. Like, old-fashions are, like, my absolute shit. So the damage here is not awesome, but it'll do. You know, I say it'll do, and I actually mean that it's going to be a really bad time if I actually try and challenge this the way that I'm trying to challenge this right now. So maybe I don't actually do that. Maybe I don't do that. See, I would feel incorrect. I'd feel remiss if I didn't actually make a decent enough effort for this one. So we're going to go ahead and go for it right now, and yeah. Also, impaling thrust, like the goofball that I am, I completely forgot I had this. That's... You know, actually, speaking of Isla, I actually have a fair few... I need to make the drink tutorials that I've actually put out. Well, I haven't really put them out, but I've done some work for my D&D group recently. And, like, one of my favorite things that I've actually recently made was a cranberry soda that essentially, like, it had D&D elements to the absolute maximum, and it was just so wonderful. Like everybody in the group absolutely loved it, and they just said, like, oh, this needs something. It's really good, though. That's unfortunate that I would take that right to the face. That did, like, no damage. Yay. Oh, no, you definitely should. Like, I love talking about D&D. When I have the chance to talk about D&D, I definitely love talking it. I forgot to roll. I think I've taken too much time off from EldenRing in this case, and it's showing a little bit because this is one of the first bosses in the game that normally I feel like I'm pretty darn confident with, but it's pretty darn apparent I'm taking a little bit of a little bit of a mistake on this one. So it's kind of on me, but you know. Roll the attack. Stab the butthole. That did not stab the butthole. I definitely thought I walked under that attack. Sure, okay. Big stab. Go ahead and do it again. Big stab. The hard part is about this class is it actually comes with magic in this case. And magic is usually pretty darn good in this game. But we're not going to be using that here. Almost at all. Well, fuck. Actually, speaking of which, Isla, because I just want to talk about it. We have just started a brand spanking new Curse of Strahd campaign, For the most part. It's been a couple months kind of working into it, and I'll say this outright. We have a table of a couple noobs, in this case, and it's pretty apparent, because we're taking our sweet time with a lot of things right now. That being said, it's Curse of Strahd. We're in the first house. It's the Rose Durst house. And it's it's fun. It's going as decently as you can imagine, which isn't all that well for what it's worth. I'm not gonna lie, maybe having new players playing Curse of Strahd is not the play of the day, but we'll talk about that at a different point. There we go. Big meaty pokers, big meaty pokers. Big meaty stabbers, roll the attack. Go ahead and make big meaty pokers, roll the attack. Big meaty pokers, roll the attack. Yep. Stab. Just to keep that trigger going up. Go ahead and do a jump attack. Walk backwards, big meaty pokers. Chug real quickly. Go ahead and do another poke. Roll the attack. Poke. Poke. That was an unfortunate roll timing, but honestly, whatever. And that, my friends, is how you put down a tree sentinel. You know what's funny? Primarily about that one? Is that one definitely took me way too long on my very first playthrough. And my very first playthrough of this game, it was... I hate to say that it was probably 4 hours. 4 hours almost spent on that boss alone. But it was about 4 hours spent on that boss alone, and I think it started as the mage class, and it took its sweet time. It really, really did. But no, we were talking about Curse of Strahd. And yeah, no. From your understanding, Isla, it is exactly that case. Yes, it is not a fucking noob friendly campaign. The campaign starts you off at level 1, and then it walks you through pretty substantially meaty encounters for what it's worth. And unless you understand gameplay objectives and how to play through D&D, which in most noob player cases, you don't understand how valuable certain items are to you. Certain items in that game are incredibly important. But that's the thing, is in the noob perspective, you don't understand, hey, I should really be looking for grease pots, or looking for oil lanterns, or looking for, water basins. Just the bare minimum kind of shit. Long story short, our campaigner, our DM, decided that, hey, you guys probably need to get that boost in level before it becomes a problem. Which, you know what, fair enough, good on him. I'm proud of him for doing such a thing, because, it really was about to get bad fast. It really was. So we got level 2 before we were technically supposed to, and that was right before the Durst House. Which, Durst House in this case, you're really only supposed to be level 1 right past Durst House. Exactly. And when you're talking about noob players in this case, it really does help to give them some levels in terms of just making sure that they can kind of get through on their own accord. Because they're gonna make mistakes, they're not gonna understand certain things, they're going to fail, pretty much. So having that availability is so important. But we got the level 2, and we're not technically done with the first major house yet. Apparently it's supposed to be an introductory to the entirety of the campaign. But it's still difficult. And it's also difficult probably because most of the players that we have actually right now, we have a bard with healing word, and then we have one cleric with almost enough of what we're supposed to have for healing. But it's not quite enough. Can I just parry this guy, actually? Oh, never mind. I can just backstab. Okay, whatever. Alright, cool. But, long story short, our campaign right now is made of a wizard, a warrior that doesn't really want to fight too much, a bard that doesn't really bard as much as maybe they should in this case, and a cleric that, well, in this case the cleric would be me. I do what I can, but I didn't really expect the party to be quite so weak on healing, so it is what it is, pretty much. So it's difficult, to say the least. But, hopefully, with any luck, it'll grow in capacity before we even know it, and we'll actually start seeing the entirety of the group grow in a way that's meaningful. It would be nice. It would be really, really nice. The big thing I think right now that we need to do in that campaign is, honestly, primarily, it kind of comes down to just having a little bit more of, like, team combos. Because as it stands, we have there's 5 players. So, we have a rogue, who the rogue does do as much as they can, but that's also partially why I forgot about them initially, because they're definitely doing, like, the trap checker job, but they're also at the same time being very... I'm sorry, yeah, it was a 5-party member. My bad. That's not bad healing. It's a bit rougher than that, yeah. It's 5 parties. 5-party members, so... There we go, level up real quickly, and the first level goes right into, yes, you would have guessed it, Dex. And this is the entirety of the run. We're going to be leveling only Dex as best as we can, as much as we can, and gosh diddly darn it, is it going to be so much fun. You're going to love all the Dex that we're pouring into. Actually, I'm curious. Could we kill Patches and get his spear? I don't know what his spear necessarily scales with, but it may be worth killing him just to find out. Because if we get a +7 spear, and it's just immediately a better weapon, you know what? We'll make that a point. We'll make that a point. Well, in this case, Isla. One thing, no Connor stamina either. In this case, for my cleric, I have them set up actually to multi-class, because a part of one thing they did for us when we were moving into, pretty much how the campaign starts you off is they move you into the other world, is the long short of it. They don't immediately start you off like in one zone or another. They pretty much just say, oh wait, oh okay, I was gonna say, they start you off in the normal world as whoever you are. And one thing our campaigners did for us in this case was they said, like, hey, what if we just basically made you guys like change your bodies as best as we can, And so one thing they did was they turned me into a low-key Witcher in this case. Which I just went ahead and said, well, what if I went ahead and multi-classed into Blood Hunter? It just kind of seemed like a really fun idea in this case. And I was like, you know what, why not? Well, that's unfortunate. But no, I multi-class into Blood Hunter as a concept for it in this case, and you know what? I haven't gotten to use it really yet, but I'm looking forward to using it because it seemed like a really cool idea. And the Blood Hunter as a whole seems really, really fun. It genuinely seems like a ton of fun. Yeah, no, I'm taking the optional rule for wisdom instead of int in this case. My cleric is definitely more attuned to wisdom as a whole. So yeah, we're definitely going to be doing that. That being said, I'm not going to, of course, play the character outright to be busted or anything like that. Which, luckily, as far as I can see, the Blood Hunter themselves is not, like, outright busted. Part of my plan for the Blood Hunter, and I'm really happy about it, I'm really excited about this one, is I'm planning to pretty much make it very much so about, like, hey, I don't want the cleric that I'm playing to be one or the other. Based off of whatever the best stats are. I'm pretty much going to make it a play of what lore-wise happens in this case. So if, like, the campaign pretty much calls for a cleric of Saloon, because that's my goddess in this case for the game. If the game calls for a cleric of Saloon, I'm going to go for that. But if the game pretty much pushes me to be a Blood Hunter, then that's what's going to happen. And I'm looking forward to that, because it leaves a lot of availability to the DM. Which, you know, honestly, kind of cool. You know what, I should probably go get the strength tier for right now, just because, like, I'm not really, like, stressed about having strength tier in this case. Strength tier is nice, but it's not, like, an outright, like, I need this in order to make the game work. It's just going to be nice for the early game, because a lot of weapons, if I'm planning on using them, are going to be requiring certain stats. Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay, this guy is running. We hate to see it. There we go, Gunner. Golden Vow. It is indeed stabby time. We always are ready for stabby time. There we go, perfect. A lot of the early game for EldenRing specifically, and this is a weird, like, double-edged sword in this case. EldenRing, very early game, is pretty much all about the setup. Like, almost entirely about the setup in this case. Which I, for the most part, love. I absolutely love setup It is one of my favorite things about this game. I personally really love just building a build and making it happen. Also, fuck this guy. Cool. Great. I love to fucking get stuck. The game is very open world. Absolutely. It is a very open world game. And the only thing I'll say about this game is that it kind of falls off during the second act in terms of the amount of availability. Certain things kind of stick around in EldenRing, but for the most part, this game doesn't really benefit from a lot during second half. Well, that dog is actually kind of massive. Well, fuck me in the anus. Huh, son of a bitch. Well, time for a drink. There we go. But no, that's kind of what's going on in the campaign sphere right now. One thing I was really hoping I'd see soon enough again was a campaign, and I actually don't know if this was a module in this case. It's one that was a little less familiar to me. But I pretty much had a bard, an Eladrin bard, which, funny enough, the campaign I'm running right now for the Curse of Strahd campaign happens to be a Eladrin bard themselves, in this case. But my Eladrin bard in the other campaign, they were in part of a world pretty much where like everything was kind of getting like rotted over and essentially turned to eventual dust is pretty much like everything that was kind of coming along from it. It was very much like, oh, death is taking over and everything is turning to death. Alright, fuck this guy. Fuck this bot in particular. There we go. Cool. We got ourselves our pot. Lovely. Love to see it. I'm gonna go do this dungeon real quickly, only because this gets us a very decent dex weapon, and we probably want that sooner than later, honestly. So yeah. Gotcha. Okay, Isla. Well, in this case, I can tell you, at least as a baseline, the campaign was pretty darn fun, and I do miss it for what it's worth. I do hope eventually I get to see it again, because the DM, it seemed like we were going to be doing it again, but it pretty much kind of came down to a matter of their life just becoming a little too hectic and too crazy for what it was worth, which, you know, fair enough. Like, I am never, ever going to hold that against a DM. Like, that is what it is. That is exactly how life functions on a daily basis. So, fair enough. But I would absolutely love to be back with that DM in that group, because it was a really wonderful time. It really was. I had a lot of fun with them, and I mean, honestly, I just want to be more in Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. I think the hard part for me lately has been finding time frames to do so. Primarily because I mean, shit, I am going through a lot. I'm going through a lot, and I'm doing a lot lately, and it's a lot. obviously. Like, I don't think in the statement I just put, like, I need to state it's a lot, but, you know, it is. But, yeah. So. Let's go ahead and magic the shit out of this bitch. So one thing you'll notice about this boss is that they happen to jump a little early on things, but when you've actually casted the magic itself, they don't understand what to do good and proper, so you just kind of get to bully them. Yeah, it's really crazy, I know. But yeah, that's exactly how that boss works. It's free every single time, and hope you're happy with that one. Nice. In this case, Isla, a very free one. You would absolutely be right about that. Tell you what, how long have we been running this character? Okay. Almost about 30 minutes, roughly. We're not really too far into the stream in this case. Probably about 40 some odd minutes, roughly. Which honestly seems a bit long, but also I think it was a slow start in the first place, so... we're going to try and wrap up what we can. Does that kill me? No. Okay, cool. We're going to try and wrap up what we can here today, and I'll probably run a character that actually has a difficult task ahead of them pretty darn shortly. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll just do that. Because I feel like today has kind of been a little bit scuffed anyways, so we're just going to go ahead and run that for like a hot minute here. Just because. Why not? Like, I personally, this is a character I love to keep around because, well, it's an endgame boss. And it's specifically only because I love to challenge endgame bosses as best as I can, and keep them around so I can pretty much just continue my tasks of learning their movesets and whatnot. So let's go into Ned Gainers real quickly. Ned Gainers is the proud defender of Melania, and we're just going to go ahead and enjoy a little bit of time with Melania for what it's worth. As you can see, this character is completely ungus bungus, for the most part. This was originally a cheese character, but unfortunately a lot of the EldenRing cheese in this case just kind of got patched out, so take that for what it's worth. Yeah. So, it's pretty much just fighting this boss. Which, this boss comes with a mixed bag of problems, which you have to take it for what it's worth. Alright, so we're gonna run away here. Go ahead and chug up real quick. There we go. Cool. Oh, there's absolutely more cheese to always be found. It's just usually when you're talking about cheese in these games, isn't she real nasty? Yeah. This is one of the few bosses that FromSoft put out there, and they were like, hey, we're really tired of getting our bosses absolutely cheesed. What if we just, you know, made a boss that was cheese? Alright, cool. Oh, I deserve that. That was... I deserve that. I deserve that. That was me being an idiot. But yeah, we'll run this for a little bit, and then we'll probably call it a night. Funny enough, I think that's the first time I've seen Melania actually run up and just kick me straight up in the jaw like that. Like, she does not normally do that. She, like, never fucking does that. Okay, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. 100%. That entire combo sequence was almost never what you would see out of her. So the fact that she did that to me was, like, that was new. That was new. That was actually really, really new. I'm actually very surprised right now. Okay, so we walk on up there. She does this attack. Sidestep, sidestep. Go ahead and bast her into butthole. Stab her one more time. Go ahead and hit her again. She dodges it and then immediately punishes us. And unfortunately, because we're not wearing the ritual shield talisman, it's death. It's just death. Because Melania's attacks all do incredibly, incredibly large amounts of damage. That's the one thing about Melania that you have to kind of get used to very quickly. She just does a lot of damage in this case. She really does. The fucking one-hits are indeed a pain. They are miserable. But, well, you either live with them or you... Yeah. Or you level vigor, I suppose. Which we're not going to do that part of the equation because, well, I'm a goofball. Like I said, I'm a goofball. Oh no, I'm definitely sure. Part of my argument for a boss like this, for any boss really, and here's the thing, is like my very first playthrough of this game, I pretty much had the very firm argument that any boss in this game you should be able to get through without taking a certain amount of damage. And this might be some Dark Souls 1 logic coming through right now, but yeah. Honestly, it's fine. Fucking swish flicker. Also, Spy and 64 pulling through. What can I say, man? Ned Gaynors doesn't need pants. Ned Gaynors doesn't need pants. Look at this man for 2 seconds. Tell me this man needs pants. This man does not need pants. He's built different. He's built different. No, honestly, you're not wrong about that, Isla. The one attack that I hate to see out of Melania is that swish flick. That is the one attack that does me dirty every single time. It is genuinely like the one attack that puts me in the grave so quickly. That attack is pretty cheap. I'm gonna run away here. I don't even know why I'm bothering with the heal up necessarily, because it does help me out, but it's not that important. Parried. Go ahead and put her in the grave real quickly. Smack her cheeks down onto the floor. Put her grave. Okay, so not at all what I was expecting there. It's okay, Starburst. Don't stress it. Also, hey, Starburst. Hope you're doing well tonight. Every try talking nicely to Melania, she's very sensitive. No, we don't talk nicely to Melania. That's goofy. That's a fucking goober ass. No. We're not gonna actually respect a boss like this. Have you seen her? Have you seen her? Do you know what she is? She's the Blade of Mikola. Fun fact, I bet you didn't know this, Spy in 64, but she's actually Melania, Blade of Mikola. Oh, she loves chopping through shields. She does not respect shields. Parried. Parried. What if I sidestep? Never mind. Sidestepping, goofy concept. Didn't actually do it there. God damn it. Exactly. Isla hit it right on the money. She can start being talked nicely to by Ned Gainers himself when she stops being a raggedy, nasty-ass bitch who primarily relies off of cheap hits. If she weren't such a cheap smacker, a cheap whore of a boss, I'd probably respect her. But for now, we parry, we smack her cheeks into the dirt, we go ahead and do the follow-up, and she decides that she's going to armor through the follow-up. I gotta say, in terms of bosses in this game, I don't like her. I do not like her. I really, genuinely despise her. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and real quickly here. Let's see. Do I have one? I do have one. Yay. Tell you what, chat. Here's what we're going to do. Here is what we're going to do. Because, fun fact about Melania. As annoying of a bitch as she is, we're just going to head right on over to Renala real quickly here and make our lives like fucking 5 to 10% easier. There we go. Alright, so magically, suddenly I had more of one stat. We're going to go ahead and increase this to about 25, 25, and I think about 25 for this one too, roughly. I forget exactly how much of this one we need, actually, but I'm going to go ahead and do 15 because, frankly, the one spell I have isn't that important, so we're not going to stress it too much. That feels about good, though. That feels about fine. We're going to go and do about 20 here. You know what? Let's go and do a little bit more. Why not? And then let's go ahead and get a nice split going between these two stats real quickly. There we go. Renala, I'm not going to lie, that made me feel a little bit creeped out on the way that you put all of whatever you just said there. So we're just going to ignore that whole conversation we just had, and bye. Okay, cool. I should probably buy and upgrade this weapon as best as I can, because it's only at a +2 right now. So it probably needs the upgrade. Probably. Okay, good. We're already there. We just need the cash. Back to the stabbing. Well, we're gonna do what we need to do to make this work. We're gonna do what we need to do to make this work, for sure. Because this is a really darn good weapon, we loved good weapons, and we want to make the good weapon feel good about itself. Because, I mean, look at this thing. This is a gorgeous weapon, finely upholstered, beautifully architectured. You want to respect the good weapons in this case, and you don't want to respect the bad bosses. So, you know, you gotta take what you can. There we go. It's +9, and we are good to go on that front. Wonderful. Is that a +9? Yes. Okay, cool. All right, wonderful. That's more than enough, I believe. Thing is if I spent enough time here, I'd probably get back into the routine of actually fighting Melania. It's been a little bit of time since I've really dedicated a whole bunch of time to just grinding EldenRing in this case. Which, funny enough, it's like I play it consistently enough, but at the same time, it's also one of those matters of this is a boss I don't usually run into very consistently on my randomizer runs, so it's not really a problem for me. Anyways, Bloodmoon Ritual and also Melania. Well, that really didn't go very well. That also didn't go very well. Could it have gone better? Is the question of the day. No. Because whenever you're dealing with her swish flick attack there, it doesn't matter what you're doing or how you wanted it to go that night. She pretty much says, fuck you, I hate you, and that's it. That's the end of the conversation. So... No, trust me. Yeah, that was exactly how it was supposed to work out. It's a completely valid attack. You can trust it down to a T. Miyazaki himself kissed both of Melania's feet. True story. Trust me. Big meaty pokers, stab her in the ass cheeks. She's doing some kind of like some wacky shit right now, and I'm not really appreciating it for the most part. Parried. The fucking... the one attack. The problem with the swish flick that she does there is it's the one attack where unless you are grinding specifically, and funny enough, like... of the bosses out there, I'm not sure if there's many of them, but of the bosses out there, there's a mod specifically for, like, Melania that's like, hey, do you want to practice these specific attacks? Go ahead. And Melania is one of the few bosses out there that has that going for her. Melania has that shit going for her on that attack. Because it's an awful attack. God, I fucking hate her. But that's the thing. It's like very few bosses out there have a specific mod that basically instructs you like, hey, here's how to deal with this shit. And she's one of them. And it's purely because that one attack right there, like I can tell you right now, like normal reaction timing, it's not standard normal. Like you do not just go up to this boss and do it that way every time. That's a normal parry. This is a normal parry. This one right here, you never parry because you just sidestep it and you poke her straight in the asshole. Walk away. Walk in, parried. Walk in. I'm a little surprised I lived there. Also, what a fucking... I'm used to dying there. Primarily because the health bar that I have right now is about twice as long. 3 times as long, roughly. Sensing a theme with the stab. Well, maybe there's a theme there. I don't know. It's potentially a thing. It's potentially a thing. Alright. Full buff. Chug. I'm swapping back to the Great Serpent Hunt because it is just significantly better. In most cases... I can't actually blame that on the weapon that I chose, though. That would be goofy, at best. That's not to blame the weapon right there. That's just Melania. I wish there was a more valid reason. So many buffs every time. There really is a lot of buffing every time. And, like, as annoying as it can be, it's important that I do so. You don't necessarily need all those buffs. Run away. Chug. Wonderful. Parried. Parried. Alright. So, one of the sauciest combos we almost had happen there, did not quite happen there. But it was still good for the most part. Parried. The fucking... It's the swish flick every single time, folks. By the way, folks, if you're having a great time here tonight and you happen to notice the title of the description tonight is Dex Only, please ignore that for right now. We're actually just enjoying ourselves a little bit. Stream setup is a little bit different from what it usually should be, but either way, I hope you're having a great night, hope you're doing wonderful, and thank you for joining us here, because I really do appreciate it, honestly. So... there we go. With enough practice, I can definitely parry that one attack that she loves to do. Not what I intended on doing, but sure, I'll take it. Why not? Parried. Run away. Cool. Wonderful. That's exactly how that's supposed to go for the most part. Parried. I kind of fucked up there pretty badly. Like, that is not how I'm supposed to actually approach that, but whatever. It is what it is. Sidestep, sidestep. Go ahead and meaty chunk into meaty chunk. I'm gonna rebuff real quickly because I can. Also, like, I don't usually buff twice during the first phase. I usually save that for second phase for anything, but whatever. Hold shield, roll, fucking, I don't usually fuck that up anymore. Okay. Nah, it's okay. It's okay, Isla. As much as Melania causes me grievances and causes me issues beyond belief, I do enjoy this boss for what it's worth. Like, it's annoying and obnoxious, and there's definitely things that I wish were different about it, but I do enjoy her annoying ass for the most part. Parried. I'll eventually get back into the rhythm parrying that, but it really requires you to pretty much just acknowledge, like, you pretty much have to acknowledge the minute she decides to raise her arm is the minute that you have to parry her. And that's what makes it a obnoxious attack. It's the one attack of everything she does that pretty much requires you to either be very perfect with it or not. Or to have enough of a health bar that you can actually live it. Because it doesn't do, like, mediocre damage. It does very good damage. But that's the difficulty, is it does good damage. Parried. Parried. What if he got parried again? Fuck you. Fine. I think we'll probably go for maybe... We'll enjoy ourselves for maybe about another half an hour at most, roughly, right now. I'm thinking probably... Actually, why don't we go ahead and do sometime soon? Gotcha. No problem. Sounds good, Isla. Get yourself some good sleep, please. Definitely do. And sounds good to me. Sounds perfect. Talk to you soon. Parried. Sidestep. Sidestep. Go ahead, smash her cheeks in. Go ahead and do it one more time. Roll away. Thank you, Star. Parried. Roll the attack. Stab her in the cheeks. Go ahead and punish her for being a dumb, stinky bozo. Punish her again for being the dumbest of stinky bozos. Roll the attack. Sidestep. Run away. Okay, cool. So one thing that I always usually do here, if I'm being incredibly safe about everything that I'm doing, is normally I'll kind of play it out in a certain way to where she'll only do that one attack right there, or that exactly is why we don't do that anymore. If you're trying to make Melania as safe as humanly possible, and here's the thing, safe does not mean fast. Safe means safe. So Melania first phase is easily the most dangerous that she can actually be. What you'll do in this case is you'll reliably sit there and let Melania do that one lunging attack that she always does, and that is the safest thing that you can let her do. That attack, and primarily any time that she gives you that sparky arm attack, those are the two safest opportunities you can actually parry her. Granted, most of your buffing will wear off by the time that shit actually guaranteed happens, like, enough. But it'll stop that from happening right there, every single time. If you're going for speed, you're going to fuck yourself. You are going to. It's a guarantee. Oh, thank you, Star. Thank you, Isla. Wish you the best. Take care of yourselves. I don't think we're probably going too much longer here tonight. It's been a bit of a week, and I think we're gonna take what time we can, and we're probably not gonna go too much longer here. But I just want to thank you all for joining me here tonight. Thank you so much for stopping in, and if you did drop on in here, or if you're catching this as a VOD at a different time, definitely be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you had a great time with us. I know it's a little different from our usual formatting and whatnot, but I really do appreciate it, and it means a ton and a half to me. So, what's funny there is I poked her once in the knees, and she just kind of sat there and was like, okay, and? Alrighty, folks. I'm going to tell you what, that is probably going to be it for tonight. We are going to actually do our Dex only run at some point here, but for right now, I kind of wanted to make tonight more just about just playing and enjoying it, so it's a little bit different from the usual format, like I said, but either way, we will be engaging more as best as we can, as soon as we can. There will be some other streams coming up here soon enough here with mods and whatnot. So thank you so much for stopping in. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's a great way to help out. So yeah, I think that about does it for tonight, folks. In the meantime, just take care of yourselves, get some food, get some water, get some sleep, if it is that time frame of the world for you, and I will talk to you all on a different date. Thank you so much for stopping in. Starburst, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Spy, thank you so much for stopping in, bud. Really appreciate it. Isla, thank you. It's been a bit since I've seen you. Thank you for stopping in. I really do appreciate it. Safe flights. And that's going to be it for tonight. I'm sorry, Mamba. I'm sorry, bud. I really hate to say it, but yeah, tonight's a little different from our usual format. But definitely catch the VOD, man. It wasn't a bad night. We didn't really do anything too crazy, so you didn't miss out on a lot. But we had some fun. But we'll have more fun probably tomorrow, more than likely. And with any luck, actually, if I'm lucky, tomorrow might actually be a day to do some Lethal Company with the mods. So we'll see. But yeah, take care for now, folks. Thank you so much for stopping in. I'll catch you all later. And yeah, ta-ta for now. See you later. Yo, nice job, Mamba. Final notes here. Mamba got to Radagon. That's awesome. Good job, man.